One day, after school, I was cleaning up my classroom, and I found this book on the floor. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to feel. There were things in this book that I knew about because I'm a woman. But the reader of this book was a child. I went and asked every literature teacher in my department about this book, and every suggestion was either about discipline or assumptions about who this reader was. Needless to say, I was concerned too. But I needed to understand this concern. Was it justified? Should I call home? Everyone believes that childhood is a time of great innocence and vulnerability. We, as teachers, as parents, we don't want to disrupt that innocence. And sometimes we don't want kids to get their hands on books that may introduce them to a world that we are not ready to show them. This book, I couldn't have my student reading that. It was going to introduce her into a world that I thought she knew nothing about. I had to protect her, right? But if I'm always protecting her, am I allowing her to grow? So instead of writing her up for a lack of engagement in English class or calling her parents, I invited her, and anyone else for that matter, to bring me every book like this that they had. The next day, my desk was covered with titles and authors I had never heard of. I cried that day. I said, "Why do you like these books? Why these books?" And a young woman named Maisha said, "Ms. Jones, because this is real life." I was trying to protect them from the books and that subject matter, but they were already experiencing it. I had to get with the program. I was trying to make of mice and men their real life. It's no wonder they looked at me like I was crazy. When students get to pick the books that they really want to read, they're going to go for what works for them. They're going to go for those real life stories that they can engage in. I mean, isn't that what we all do when we go to the bookstore? So I realized that my students were ready to talk about the books they wanted to read. I wasn't. They were ready to engage with me about those real life stories, and I wasn't. In an undergraduate course that I teach, a student approached me after class frustrated. I asked her what was wrong. She asked, her supervising teacher when they were going to read To Kill a Mockingbird. It's usually read in most ninth grade classes. And her supervising teacher said, "Oh, we will never read To Kill a Mockingbird because it brings up issues of race, and I don't want to deal with that." Really? You don't want to deal with that? Imagine if you're the student whose life would have been changed through the reading of To Kill a Mockingbird, but someone doesn't want to teach that book to you because they don't want to deal with it. Or in another scenario, only honors, gifted, and AP students get to delve into difficult conversations about books. It seems as if only those kids can handle it. But what if you didn't get to take honors or AP or gifted? I think what this means is that this is a dangerous position. We don't really know how much power we have to discourage kids from reading what they want. It says that what they read and what they have to say isn't valued. And essentially what we're saying is that they are not valued. So this really brings up a deeper question for me, and this question is, what are we afraid of? And what can we do to confront this fear? A couple of years ago, I ran into a mentor of mine, Dr. Amanda Godley, and her daughter at the time wanted to read the book called 13 Reasons Why. If you've never heard of this book, it's a book about a young girl who commits suicide. And afterwards, she plans to have 13 recorded cassette tapes sent to the people who she feels is responsible for her death. Heavy, isn't it? Dr. Godley allowed her daughter to read the book. But she said this, we're going to talk about this book. You can read it, but there's no way that we're not going to talk about it. What Dr. Godley did here was central. She started a dialogue. The dialogue wasn't a demand. It wasn't an accusation. It is something that we should all aim for, a conversation. Her daughter's innocence was protected, and she had someone to talk about the book with. So instead of assuming what students or our children are picking up from books or why they're reading this book, we could just ask them. Everyone wants to read the books that they choose. Ladies and gentlemen, the kids are reading. Let's join them and strike up a conversation. Thank you.